Inclusion of small parties in GNU is to boost ANC's support against DA. The reason the Democratic United Movement UDM joined the Government of National Unity GNU was because it understood the terms and conditions set out in it, the party's Secretary General Yongama Zigebe said on Sunday. Zigebe told the Star that the party got the clarification it sought from the ANC following the letter it sent to the governing party seeking clarity on the GNU after the first invitation they received from the ANC. As you will recall, we wrote a letter on June 17, 2024, seeking clarity on certain elements of the statement of intent sent by the ANC. Following our meeting with the ANC on June 21, 2024, we received the necessary clarifications as detailed in our response letter to the ANC SG, he explained. Zigebe, however, said the party's decision to join the GNU should not be seen as reneging from its commitment to the Parliamentary Progressive Caucus. He continued to say majority of political parties in the Progressive Caucus were in fact in support of the GNU. No, joining the GNU does not mean reneging on our commitment to the Progressive Caucus. No party from the Progressive Caucus opposed the GNU. Our primary concern was the lack of proper engagement and consultation. Some members were promised that an agreement or the statement of intent will be shared early in the week prior to the Friday National Assembly sitting, which did not happen. However, none of the parties are opposed to the GNU. In fact, we all believe that it represents the right kind of governance that South Africa needs, as reflected in the voice of the electorate, UDM Secretary General added. He said that the UDM did not consult nor inform parties in the Progressive Caucus of its decision, adding that every party operated independently and carried its own mandate from the electorate. The Progressive Caucus will share similar ideologies. The UDM campaigned on a ticket of the GNU as part of its manifesto. After the elections, we continue to make clarion call that all 18 political parties represented in Parliament to sit around the table and form part of this GNU. The ANC is also actively engaging with all political parties to join and sign the statement of intent to formalize the GNU. Political analyst Andre Duvenay said UDM joining the GNU made things more complicated since a number of other political parties came into play. Duvenay said their inclusion brought nothing but complications inside the GNU founders. I understand the ANC's strategy is bringing in as many as possible in order to undermine the influence of the main opposition, which in the case was the Democratic Alliance DA. The resistance we are picking up from the Helen Zille and the others that the ANC did not follow the agreement, he added. Furthermore, the analyst said this could result in an unstable coalition, adding that the inclusion of these small parties was to support the ANC's strong position against the DA. Ramaphosa intervenes in Gauteng, instructs Lesotho to include DA members in provincial cabinet. Sources have confirmed to IOL that President Cyril Ramaphosa has instructed Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesotho to include members of the DA in his provincial cabinet. Ramaphosa's intervention comes after negotiations between Lesotho and the DA fell through, leading to Lesotho excluding the DA from his cabinet announcement. Lesotho was scheduled to announce his new cabinet on Sunday, with notices also posted on social media. However, hours later, the announcement was postponed, this after Ramaphosa's reported intervention. The DA has initially requested 4 MEC positions, while Lesotho countered with an offer of 3 positions. A senior ANC source in Gauteng said that Lesotho was ready to proceed without the DA, but Ramaphosa intervened. The president's directive was clear. The inclusion of the DA is necessary to maintain the spirit of the GNU. Premier Lesotho must accommodate this directive despite the initial breakdown in the negotiations, said the source. GNU next enlarges, Mzansi joins the bandwagon. 10 parties have now joined the Government of National Unity GNU, including the year-old Mzansi. On Saturday, the party confirmed that it has signed the GNU Statement of Intent after deciding that it wished to coexist with other parties within the perimeters of the multi-party government. According to the small party's leader, Yongama Zigebe, Mzansi senior executive members met on the day prior to joining GNU, deliberating on whether or not to form part of the new government. In agreement to partake in the new government, political parties not winning an outright majority is a clear indication by South Africans that they want change. Service delivery is a clear indication by South Africans that they want change, service delivery, ethical leadership, and new faces in the government, Zigebe said. On its campaign trail, Mzansi commented its identity on ethical leadership. Hence, Zigebe said forming part of the multi-party government will vocalize its call for ethical leadership both in national and provincial government and implement key issues in the party's manifesto. Among key issues, Mzansi committed to address in countering crime-infested area, ensuring food security for the low socio-economic class, job creation, spatial justice, and land reform in urban and rural areas for economic emancipation. In yesterday's meeting, the NLC decided that Mzansi should form part of the GNU in national dialogue to ensure that the aspirations and hopes of the people who elected us to serve are heard. Through the election campaign, we were clear and consistent in saying that in our constitutional architecture, the work of parliament and provincial legislatures is as important as the government executive. South Africans deserve legislation of a high quality. We also said that proper oversight by elected representatives and accountability of executive branch are also important, especially in light of the devastating experience of state capture and rampant corruption, he said. Moreover, Zigebe stated taking part in the GNU meant adhering to the Apex Law, protecting the constitutionally guaranteed independence of key institutions to serve the South African people without fear or favor, and ensuring that critical public services are not interrupted or undermined by state officials. Mzansi's participation in the GNU will remain dependent on these principles. With the priorities and principles of the GNU Statement of Intent, Mzansi will continue political party and government building towards the 2026 local government elections, with work already underway to contend upcoming by-elections. And that's it from Egypt's network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.